Namaskar, warm greetings from DELNET Developing Library Network, New Delhi and Navrachana University, Vadodara, India. Distinguished and eminent speaker, Dr. Sandeep Vasant, Registrar, Navrachana University, Vadodara. Dr. Jaideep Mehta, the University Librarian at Navrachana University and officials at Navrachana University. Well-known national and international library experts, LIS professionals, institutional heads, computer science and IT professionals, educational administrators, faculty members, researchers and scholars, students, my colleagues at DELNET-New Delhi, as well as coordination units at Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Pune, ladies and gentlemen. I, Dr. Sangeeta Kaul, Director DELNET-New Delhi, on behalf of DELNET Developing Library Network and Navrachana University, Vadodara, extends a very hearty welcome to all of you for joining us today from different parts of India and many other countries, including Bhutan, Kuwait, Malaysia, Nigeria, Philippines, Sri Lanka, and UAE to today's webinar session on Art of Leadership, which will shortly be delivered by our distinguished speaker, Dr. Sandeep Vasant. We would like to express our sincere gratitude and thanks to Navrachana University, Vadodara for joining hands with DELNET in organizing today's collaborative program. We are also much thankful to each one of you for your very overwhelming response, as more than 1,300 participants have registered for the session. We are much grateful to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Sandeep Vasant, for acceding to our request to deliver the invited talk and for sparing his valuable time in being there with us. Thank you very much, Dr. Sandeep. Thank you so very much. Indeed, much grateful and obliged, for your very, very kind presence with us this afternoon. We would also like to thank Dr. Jaideep Mehta, the University Librarian at Navrachana University, Vadodara, for his well-coordinated efforts. I take immense pleasure in informing you all that DELNET Developing Library Network, New Delhi, is the single largest library network in entire South Asia, connecting in today's day and time more than 8,500 institutions across the country and also many other countries. And these institutions, which we are networking, includes institutions of national importance, the major universities, colleges, R&D organizations, medical hospitals, specialized institutions, and DELNET is working relentlessly for past more than 3 decades with a missionary zeal to provide information support to the information seekers and empowering libraries, inspiring libraries and information science professionals, and strengthening the knowledge sharing activities remains our major prime goal. I'm much pleased and honored to inform you all that Navrachana University is a premier multidisciplinary private university located in Vadodara in Gujarat. And Navrachana University in Uttarakhand comprises 5 schools of learning spread across a sprawling new age campus. And these schools include the School of Sciences, School of Engineering and Technology, School of Business and Law, School of Environmental Design and Architecture, and also the School of Liberal Studies and Education. I'm very much glad and feeling happy to inform you all that in 2021, Navrachana University was ranked among the top 3 private universities and best in the Vadodara by the Gujarat State Institutional Rating Framework. It is also a well-known, being considered as one of the best MBA college in entire Gujarat and offers top-tier education and career opportunities for aspiring business leaders. Established in the year 2009, Navrachana University is a young university that understands the aspirations of the youth and being a part of the Navrachana Education Society, which is contributing in a remarkable manner for the past more than 55 years to the education landscape. It is an esteemed honor and pleasure for us to have with us today our very distinguished eminent speaker, Dr. Sandeep Vasant, the Registrar at Navrachana University. I must say, a very highly able administrator and a dynamic leader whose vision and mission of providing the quality education is changing the entire education landscape. His contributions are truly remarkable and admirable, and he is undoubtedly taking the Navrachana University to the greater heights. It's a profound privilege and honor for me now to make you all aware about the immense contributions that Dr. Sandeep Vasant is making, not only to Navrachana University, but yes, indeed, to the entire education landscape. Dr. Sandeep Vasant, besides holding the most prestigious position of being a registrar at Navrachana, he is also professor in computer science program under the School of Engineering and Technology, and holds a PhD in computer science and has over nearly 2 years of decades of experience in teaching, research, academics, and general administration in higher education. Prior to joining Navrachana University, Dr. Vasant was also the registrar at Anant National University in Ahmedabad and was instrumental in setting up systems, processes, and policies of the university for effective and solution-oriented administration. Preceding his stint at Anant National University, he was heading the office of the academic registrar at Ahmedabad University. He was responsible for strategic academic administration, planning and execution of academic processes, ensuring statutory compliances with the UGC and Government of Gujarat rules and guidelines, writing academic policies, designing the course catalogs, managing university courses, managing students' life cycles at the university, and automation of academic processes for the Office of the Academic Registrar. He has taught courses such as object-oriented programming, open source technology, and software engineering at undergraduate and postgraduate levels. Dr. Vasant has published more than 15 quality research papers in various international and national journals of repute and has been instrumental in volunteering at various educational seminars and conferences. He has also been invited as an information technology professor to deliver the sessions on effective classroom teaching and learning using information communication technology to guide the trainers. Dr. Sandeep has also served as a vice chairman and chairman at the Computer Society of India at Ahmedabad chapter for the years 2016 to 2018. Profound privilege and honor in having you with us today, Dr. Vasant, and we really can't thank you enough. It has been truly a great honor, and this has brought back the wonderful memories of meeting you in person on January 20th, and one of the most remarkable programs, one of its kind that you spearheaded, and it's something, that we feel truly so obliged and feeling so delighted and happy that you have been able to spare time for us, for this entire fraternity of libraries and information science professionals. And I really don't want to stand between you and our audience, who are eagerly looking forward now to listening to you. May I have an immense pleasure in welcoming you once again and requesting you to kindly start the deliberations of this afternoon. It's over to you, Dr. Vasant.
Thank you, Dr. Sangeeta Kaul, giving me this opportunity to interact with the, kind of eminent people who are part of this talk. I personally feel that, right now I am just wearing a hat of the registrar, but by heart I am always a professor, and I will always be the professor. First of all, thank you very much, DELNET, and Dr. Sangeeta Kaul, director of DELNET, for inviting me and sharing my experiences with the participants. I'm also thankful to my colleague, Dr. Jaideep Mehta, who actually invited you, and we could meet in person and we can bring in synergies together. I'm sure that whatever experience that I'm going to share today, it will be really beneficial for all the participants. Let me just share my screen. Please tell me if it is visible. Hope it is visible to everyone.
It's perfectly fine. Yeah, no, you need to put it in the slide show. It came and then
I have already
once again in the full screen.
It is full screen on my laptop. It is
no, here and it's not.
Okay.
Here it's not. Yeah, we can just
Just a minute. Let me try it again. Is it now?
Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. This is fine. Yeah. No, again went back. It came and then again, yes.
I don't know. Just a minute. Is it okay now?
No. It's still not. I think we can click onto this use slideshow. Perhaps it would come in that. Yes, this is fine. Perfect. Very perfect.
Being out of the presenter mode where I could have used my notes. So I'm just trying to use the presenter mode here. Just let me try and figure it out.
This is perfect. Very perfect now.
Is this okay now?
No. I believe you may have to go to this slideshow only. Yeah, this is fine now. Dr. Vasant, this is perfectly fine.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what I feel is I'm not here to teach anyone, and rather I will be sharing my experience. Without wasting time, Dr. Call, with your due permission, I'm just moving ahead. So I'll not be teaching anyone, rather I'm here to share my experience. I personally feel that there are many great professors who are teaching leadership. However, I feel that whatever little I could practice in my job role, and trying to share some case studies throughout the slides that I have made. And once I am finished, we can have an interaction or the question answer where you can share your viewpoints, and I have already given my viewpoint, so you can comment on it. During this course of action, I have designed a survey just to understand that what do you think about leadership on different aspects. If you can just scan the QR code which is given on the screen, it will yield us the better result to understand that what all the participants are thinking about the leadership. So let me just start with my content. So I'll be talking about leadership with my viewpoint, and I would be really interested to understand your viewpoint, that what do you understand by the leadership. Then I'll just talk about what are the leadership traits and styles which exist, and what different people are actually exhibiting and they are practicing. And I will talk about my experiences of dealing with the complex problems on this position. I'm sure those who understand what is the role and responsibility of the registrar, they will really appreciate that the position is very tricky, and you will have to listen to each and every stakeholder, starting from security guard of the university to the top management, to the students, to the faculty, and parents, everyone. So it's required you to exhibit very calm, cool, and composed nature, along with active listening, and I would also add that active questioning style to deal with the different problems. So that's how I have designed the content here. So Dr. Kaul, may I request you to just ask the audience, and if I can get an answer that what is leadership according to them in one
Sure.
word, just if they can define what is leadership. I'm just trying to get in engaged, because in a webinar mode it is a otherwise monologue. So let's hear from the participants that in one word what they actually mean by leadership, or they have an idea about the leadership. And you can please also help me out to understand what they are typing, because on my screen I'm not able to see what they are saying.
So we would like to request everyone, our attendees, to tell us what you really mean by leadership, and just one word, as being said by a distinguished speaker. Just kindly, and you can use the chat box, use the chat facility to just write it. Requesting you all self-control. Okay, this is by Swastika Shikhar.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we request you all kindly come forward and tell us, what you really mean by leadership. Just simply a one word.
Write one word, whatever it comes to your mind when you think of leadership.
Requesting everyone, I think they're just trying to results. Ishappa Bandi, Dr. Ishappa Bandi has set results.
Okay.
Yeah. Guiding our subordinates in a good path by Kiruthuga Guruswami.
Excellent. Yes, guiding is one of the major.
Leading by example by Amar Londhe.
Yeah, walk the talk. Yeah, correct.
Go ahead, we request you. We have fairly around right now. Leadership is like share credit with team, said by Dr. Ravikant Gupta. Kavitha Navrachana has said,
I would say that proactiveness is one of the parameters. So be proactive and explain yourself.
Exactly. Accountability, accountability by Rupali Taru. Leadership is an art of direction, making the followers. This is by Kavitha Natarajan. Trait, said by Muhammad Azhar Islam.
Yeah, correct.
Please come forward. Responsibility, again by Dr. Ishappa Bandi has said.
Okay.
Come forward. Mentorship, Shilpa Thakre.
Yes. Okay.
To take care of subordinates, Dr. Prakash Iyen has said. Dr. Ravikant Gupta has said, not only define the path, but be in the path with team. Okay.
Excellent. I totally agree. Totally agree with that. Fair
To
enough.
influence to follow. Engineer Ghanshyam Das ji has said, to influence to follow.
Excellent, excellent. These are few words that I have also written for my, note about leadership and the experience that I have. So one word that I would like to, tell everyone that what is leadership, because there is no perfect definition of leadership, and hundred and thousand words can also not define the leadership. But I personally feel that the leader who always challenge the status quo, who will not take the things granted, and then while challenging the status quo, if you are influencing others with different traits, like you should be very charismatic when you are speaking, but there are many examples that we have a great leaders, those who are not charismatic, but still they could succeed, and it is just because of their ability to deliver the results, and they were always challenging the status quo. Thank you very much, all the participants, for expressing yourself, and I could understand that we all are on the same page. Now, I would really like to, press my talk on this word that is called, we live in VUCA world. What do you mean by VUCA world? I'm sure many of us are facing this situation. So VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. We all have experienced that what has happened during the COVID. The whole world was volatile, the stock markets going down. Nobody actually had any clue that what is going to happen. The government was clueless, not only in India but across the countries, that everybody was very uncertain about whether their flights will take off, whether they'll be able to reach to the particular place, likewise, and the whole lot of complexity to deal with the problems at that time. Being professor, we were all thinking that how will we take our classes, and then all of a sudden you have the technology, and now we are using it doesn't mean that technology was not there, but we were probably not meant to be using the technology at that time. But situation put us in such a situation that we have to take new steps to solve our problems. At the same time, there is a lot of ambiguity uh, prevails whatever work we do. And how do you lead your organization or the group of people or the assignment which has been entrusted to you uh, amongst all this parameters? So I would say that we can definitely disrupt to this VUCA world. And how to disrupt the VUCA world? Here is the definition, that to avoid volatility, leader must have their vision, their enormous understanding of the domain they are leading, or the group of people they are leading, or the assignment which has been entrusted to them. And they must have clear cut clarity and the direction. Somebody said the leader must have an ability to direct people, so that is without clarity is not possible. And at the same time, you have to be very flexible, very agile, adopt to all kind of uh, criticism even, I would say. And then come out from that situation with your expertise and the experience. Definitely we can disrupt the VUCA world, and we can convert VUCA favorably through this four characteristics. Now I would just like you to reflect on these people. I am sure everybody is aware about Stephen Hawking, or Mahatma Gandhi ji, Malala Yousafzai, Mother Teresa, and many others. They are all world's greatest leader. Nobody can deny. But I would just pick up one. Let's say we talk about Malala Yousafzai. What did she do? She challenged the status quo in her region. What did she do? She fought against the tide, and she took up the challenge, and she became the visionary leader for all the women in that region, and now in the world, that education is a right for everyone. And that's how they have led to the situation which prevails. So what is the similarity in this world's great leaders, or maybe those who are not there on the screen? So I would find this characteristics, that is, they all have vision, they all have direction where to go, the strategy, then enormous communication power. They have a good communication skills such that they can inspire people, and they can deal with any type of situation, and they can manage the crisis whenever it happens. So I personally feel that whenever you are in a leadership position, you must first define the purpose or the vision, that why you are there, and then you must have a clarity where you want to go, and the direction you have to set up. Without direction, you can't lead people to your way, you cannot make the followers. And of course, along with the direction, you will have to devise a strategy, and strategy cannot come without a lot of experience. So you must have an experience dealing situations in your domain. And definitely communication. So here communication is not a only a clarity about one particular language, but clarity of thoughts. And if you are able to communicate through the clarity of thought, I am 100% sure that you can inspire many in your group or the organization. And of course, the crisis management skills that you will learn across the years of experience that you get. There are different styles which is available, and leaders may adopt accordingly. But I would just like to emphasize on the style, that you choose your style wisely. Somebody said that leader should be leading from front or be an example, and this is what exactly depicted here, that you decide whether you want to become a leader or you want to become just a manager or a boss. So it will not take you far in your field if you will just try to be a manager who will just instruct. Rather, people are always valued when they are leading from the front and they are walking the talk. So as a leader, I'll explain in my other slides that how you can walk the talk. So that's very important for all of us to understand, that there are many styles prevail, and I can go on and on for speaking about only the styles. But I need to cover up a lot of topics during this 1 hour talk, and that's why I'm just pressing the button that please choose your style wisely. Now, how will you make decisions when you are leading a company or an organization or an assignment which has been given? So through this graph, if you can just see that to access time and the support desire to take the decision. So suppose if you just want to take an independent decision, you don't need much time, and you also don't need support from everyone. But now you think about the topmost parameter, that is, if you need to take a decision with a consensus, then you need to make a lot of effort to get the desired support from everyone, and the time is also higher. So many a times we are doing a critic about government, that they are not doing anything for us. But you just try to understand from this figure or from this graph, that how come they how can they come without a policy which is not supported by everyone? So whenever they come up with the policy, it takes time and it needs enormous support, even support from the opposition. So before doing a critic, I must say that let us first participate in all this discussion, or at least closely look at from our lenses through these processes and what is the situation they are in, and then we definitely do a critic. I'm not saying that we should not do a critic. As a professor, we always encourage criticism in the class, but then it should be a constructive criticism, not the other way around. So that's what I wanted to say in the slide. Now, when you are dealing with leadership, of course, you will have to think about the first parameter is ethics. So what is the morality? How can you, be an ethical leader? So next slide, if you just see that, what do we understand about ethics? What is your philosophy about ethics? Please try to understand that what you are trying to attempt and what problems you are trying to solve, and what is the way of your solution. Is it ethically and morally correct? And if not, then please reflect, introspect yourself, and then you should be able to make a right balance between the right and the wrong. And you just see that what do we mean by right. So is it right things to do or to do things right? I'm sure that this statement is very confusing, but it is clearly distinguishing the trait of a leader and the manager. So manager has always the set of things to do, and they have been given the manuals and they just need to follow the manuals. So for managers it is just to do things right. But when I'm leading an organization, when I'm on a leadership position, I will have to think that whether I am doing the right things or not. Let me just give you an example that if I want to make my business profitable, so if my business is being profitable, definitely the company will be very happy, the management, top management will be happy, I am myself will be very happy. But I will have to just follow the financial lessons that I have learned throughout, that how can I make the profitability in the business. But is this profitability coming via unethical way? Then I'm not doing the right thing. And that's where you need to reflect on your actions in your organization, because your followers are watching you, and probably you are not doing the walk the talk. And hence we have to identify between the right and the wrong. So what do I do? Because when you are trying to do right things, or think right things to be done in your organization, there will be different ideas, different ideologies, and that's where your conflict management and the perception management skills comes to rescue. And that cannot come without a lot of experience, without talking to different people, understanding their viewpoint, respecting their viewpoint, uh, bringing different viewpoints from the other industry, a lot of deliberation that we do. And that's what we actually do at Navrachana University in our class. We don't rely only on professor teaching in the class. Rather, we ask students to participate. We ask industry expert to come to the class, because sometimes as a professor I'm just being a theorist, but the practitioner who comes into the class, he can completely change the direction of the discussion, and he will have probably, or she will have probably a different idea that how situations are being handled outside the classroom. And hence when the ideology conflicts, one must devise a mechanism which will actually communicate very objectively with their team members, trying to help them understand to respect each other's viewpoint, and then add his or her own wisdom through his experience. And how I am dealing with such kind of conflict management or conflict management issues in my last few slides, where I have taken one or two case studies, and it will be very clear to all of you that how to deal with the problems. Why ethics? Isn't it being an unethical is very easy? Yeah, of course, I agree that being unethical makes your task very easy. But the question is is it sustainable or not? So you just see the slide. It is distinguishing between the ethical and the unethical leadership. So I agree that when you try to do practice ethical leadership, of course it is difficult, but the results are very encouraging. It is sustainable. You will build your good repute, not only in the organization but in the competent other organizational sector and the industry. You will achieve your credibility and dependability by your clients. Then you also gain a lot of confidence, because when you are not doing anything wrong, you are very confident in your decision making, and you are not taking a step back. Of course through systemic functioning and the processes, you can establish that nobody can move from the queue, and you can build your trust and the image amongst your client, amongst your followers likewise. But the moment you slip onto the other side, it's all very chaotic and very difficult. Probably in a shorter span you may not realize, but in the longer run you can't sustain. And that's where I would like to give an example of recent fall of Paytm. Everybody is seeing a lot of articles every day that what has happened to Paytm. Every one of us are using Paytm, even the the people who are not well versed with the technology, they are using Paytm right now. But within one day, RBI scrap everything, and the Paytm is in big struggle. That is why, because they followed unethical leadership. A similar example has happened in USA, that is Silicon Valley Bank. They were also, practicing a lot of unethical leadership, and they put everything at stake: their reputation, the company's reputation, and the impression amongst the clients. So it is us as a leader will have to decide that what do we need to do when we are, actually leading the organization. And that's where it is reminding me the quote given by Mahatma Gandhi ji, that be the change you want to see in this world. So be an example, and without being an example, you can't lead people. And that's where he spent his whole life. I'm definitely following the Gandhian principle across my life, and a lot of teachings from that I do take, bring it into my class and discussion. And I'm very keen to know your views about it in the survey. Now, leadership without purpose. So purpose should be, solving problem, and solving a very complex problem. So if you are even, making a company or setting up a company, you first need to decide what is the purpose. Am I trying to solve a problem which is impacting a mass or not? And then, once you are a leader, you have to think about the growth of others. If you are not a leader, you just think about your success. But after becoming a leader, you have to think about the success of everyone. And the picture itself says that, the ecosystem of the nature is with all the purpose. It is we human being has tried to disturb the chain. So we need to think, when we are leading the organization, what should we do? And I strongly believe that when you are leading any assignment, first decide your purpose, that what you want to achieve. So what role does the purpose play? So it actually determines that how driven are you, what is the problem that you are solving, and how can you make this world a better place to live. So how are you making difference in the people's lives? So just an example of a very renowned company, everybody would agree in India, that Tata's, they have made a remarkable journey in this particular sector, whatever sector they are in. So their mission is to improve the quality of life of the communities we serve globally through long-term stakeholder value creation based on leadership with trust. Now, tell me that who is not agreeing when trust comes? We don't remember Tata. So whether you take an insurance, whether you take a car, whether you go with a software company, whether you go with a steel, so everywhere they have actually made visible themselves with a example by leading and sticking to what they say. So it is like walking the talk that I said early in my talk. So that's how you will have to find your purpose, and then once your purpose is ready, you will be able to impact to the masses. So real test of human endurance comes when the tide is always against you, and it demands a lot of courage. And when you are showing the endurance, you will have to also show your greatest communication skills. So why communication is so essential? So I would like to explain through these three things, that to share your larger vision with the followers, you have to have a clarity of mind, and then you will be able to communicate. To work collectively towards the vision that you have envisaged, or the company or the organization has envisaged, and then to establish a leader-follower relationship. So leader-follower relationship cannot come if you are not able to throw up what clarity of mind that you have. And it reminds me, the greatest speech ever has been spoken by Martin Luther King Jr., and it is called "I Have a Dream" speech. If you really listen to the speech, the concentration of that speech was on equality and justice for everyone. So he wanted, actually, people should not be judged by the race, the caste, and the creed that we have created in our society. Rather, knowledge should prevail, and people should be judged by the knowledge. And I am very much inspired from this speech. I have read the speech, though I was not born at that time, but while going through a lot of reading, this speech is always reminding me that what we should bring in when we are able to contribute in the society. So trait of great communication will not just about talking, but firstly about listening. As I said that as a registrar, I will have to listen people to a lot, and then I'll also have to read between the line when they are saying, because many a times the situation is very tricky. People will not open up directly, but I'll have to understand, analyze my experience, and through that I'll have to say that what they have not even I'll have to hear what they have not even said. So it's not just what you say, it's how you say it. So when you are talking to someone, even if you want to put up your point in an organization, in a professional way, and even in personal life, you will have to make a point that you are able to communicate well. However, we do a lot of practice, but personally I feel that I have not achieved that level. But we should keep practicing it, that whenever we are putting our point, it should not look like an argument. Of course, constructive argument is always most welcome. So if you are backed by strong and clear purpose, every word that you make to your follower, to your team members, it will make an impact. So that's how it is about communication. And the next one is about trust and team management. So when you are dealing with a lot of people, you will have to first establish the trust. And how can you establish the trust? As I said, walk the talk. And the second thing is you should exemplify yourself and lead that way, and you should know what are the nuances of managing the team. Now I'm very much hardcore fan of cricket as a game, and I follow it very closely. So it is reminding me the great leader which I follow, when he actually took charge, Mr. Saurav Ganguly. So it doesn't mean that I don't like other players, but what I admire his skills as an administrator is when our team was going through a lot of bad phase, we were told that we are Indian Tigers, but only within the country. We were not able to win any games, especially in the test matches, outside country. This person came, he brought a lot of people together, and in one of the interviews, he and Mr. Virendra Sehwag has acknowledged that Saurav Ganguly asked Sehwag to open up in a opening pair any match, and then you go full blast, and if you will fail, I'll take the responsibility. So that's how you will have to cultivate the trust culture amongst your team member. And it is also reminding me that when we won a 2011 World Cup, it was all about trust and bringing right people together. And it was started way earlier than 2011. So I don't say that MS Dhoni is not a great captain. Of course he is, but in 2011 the preparation was started. Winning this World Cup much earlier. So Saurav Ganguly did what? He brought Sehwag, he brought Gambhir, he brought Yuvraj, and he made this team who can actually believe that they can win the World Cup, which is been not done since 80s. And that's how everybody had performed. And of course the master stroke was played by none other than MS Dhoni. Under his able leadership we could win this. But when I'm just trying to say that you have to get people along, and you will have to believe in them, and you have to, as a leader, back your team even if you are not getting the desired result. So that's striking me to tell you that people are not most important asset, but the right people are your most important asset. So even when we are taking an interview, and then if the person is not performing, I think fault is on our side. When we are taking interview, and then if the person is not able to perform, then somewhere we have also faltered, and you take that responsibility rather than sacking the people that he's not performing well. And this is how I personally practice my role and the leadership position that I am in. Excuse me. Now, along with the purpose and the other thing, I think when you are in a position of leadership, these three parameters is need to be closely evaluated. That how you are building your character, how you are executing it, and do you have a plan to leave a legacy? Because leaders are remembered only if they leave a legacy. Otherwise, we easily forget the leaders. So these three things go together. And when I talk about character, what do you do when you are not answerable to anyone is your real character. What do you do when no one is watching you? So let's not talk about sustainability. This is my view, that let's not talk the sustainability if we can't take our own water bottle when we are traveling with us, and we always rely on one time use plastic bottles. Then let us stop talking about sustainability. That is what the character is. So if you talk a sustainability amongst, public forum, but at the same time you cannot carry a water bottle, steel water bottle with you, and when you are traveling to the airports and you are relying on the one time usage plastic bottle, then you are not exhibiting the real character. Let us not talk about saving trees, because I could see in lot of email signature that it is written that saving trees and saving trees is a cause and what not. But we don't think twice before using handful of tissue paper. Every day a lot of trees are cut when we are using the tissue papers. So it is not the walk the talk character. So when you are in your character, walking the talk is extremely important for you as a leader. Lead without arrogance. I would press a point here that many people, when they are reaching to a leadership position, unintentionally they get arrogant. I would like to discuss that NASA has developed a telescope which has only an observable view of the universe. We all know that universe is far 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 beyond than that, and it is infinite. We have no idea that what is beyond the observable universe. And if we try to look at ourselves in the universe, we are not even visible. And hence it is very important for us that the higher and higher we go, we have to be rooted, be grounded in our behavior, and especially arrogance should not reach to the head. It also reminds me to tell you that Alexander the Great, everybody knows that what he conquered, he conquered the world. But when he was in his last moments, he told his followers that when he dies, and when he has been taken to the last rite, please keep his two empty hands out of the coffin. Why? Because he wanted the followers, the people who were seeing the last ride, to understand that despite he has conquered the whole world, he is going empty handed. He doesn't have anything in hand. Then why to have an arrogance when we are talking to our peers, when we are talking to our followers? So as a leader, you have to practice that arrogance should not become your character. I am a nature lover, and hence I try to look at the nature from leadership position always. That how can I learn from the nature? So you can just see from this slide that resilient leadership is not about being on a high position, rather to be grounded. You can just see that mighty oak tree. I'm talking about oak tree, which is generally found out in the northern part of the world, but it's a very good example to talk about. So what can we learn from the nature? So first, you should have a strong foundation. That means you have to have a connection to the root to go higher. Then you should have a tendency to give, not to take every time. So this is what we can learn from the nature. Nature always give it to us. They are not trying to take anything back from us, and we are the one who are actually trying to get everything from the nature, but we are not giving back. However, small moments have already started to take care of the nature, but it is not enough according to me. It also shows that how endurance can be very helpful to you to be in any climatic conditions. So trees are showing a lot of endurance. So we also need to show endurance when we are going through the difficult situation, or even the team is going through the difficult situation. Organic growth is slow, of course, but it is rock solid, and that's why leaders should always practice to be growing organically rather than inorganically. And then recognition and care about ecosystem. We human being, unfortunately, I must say that only human being is the creature. They pulls each other's legs. None of the other species in this world try to do that. So we must understand, we must realize, and then we must reflect that what are we actually doing when we are in the our ecosystem. Are we trying to build an ecosystem for our subordinates, that when you are not there, they can function properly? Your need, actually the leader's job is, when he or she is not available, the functioning should be flawless. If you are able to achieve that, then you can say that you are practicing a good leadership. And at last, that you must have to leave a legacy with a growth. And growth mindset is something which I also talk about a lot in my classes, that until unless you have a growth mindset, you can't do anything. So when we are doing a visioning exercise, let's say, to grow a university, if we are talking about 10 years, what will be the university after 10 years? It's not growth mindset. Growth mindset is about talking what will be the university and the university's future after 100 years, because world's best university has a legacy of 100 years, more than 100 years. So that's how I learned from nature, and all of you must start looking at nature as your teacher. The another example, just to talk about arrogance, I know that many of you might be knowing, but the friends who have joined outside the country, let me tell you that leadership lessons can be learned from Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a book which is based on the mythology of India, related to the war for the righteous state in Mahabharata Mahakavya. And I would just like to tell you the example that how Lord Krishna, who was a charioteer of great Arjuna, who was the archer, but at the same time, the Karna was also the very good archer. So they were both fighting in the war field. And Arjuna, when he was shooting an arrow toward the chariot of the Karna, it was going far away from his place. And when Karna was hitting it, hardly it was moving 2-3 feet away, the Arjuna's chariot. Then also Lord Krishna was actually praising the Karna a lot. And that's where at the end of the day, Arjun got an ego that I am far superior than the Karna. And didn't you see that, when I was shooting an arrow towards his chariot, it was moving by 25 to 30 feet, and he was hardly moving my chariot by 2-3 feet. Then Lord Krishna actually told Arjuna to step down from the chariot, and then the moment they both stepped down, the chariot flied into the ash. And then how he explains that it was not you, but it was me who was your charioteer, the Lord himself. If you see the top, Hanumanji, who is sitting on the top, and there are many other forces like that who was actually with you, who were with you, and it was because of them your chariot was not moving, but otherwise the result is different. And hence I was praising. The moment this explanation came from the Lord itself, Arjuna was speechless, and he felt that this is how he became arrogant during the whole process. So not trying to tell you the religious things here, but I'm just trying to explain the perspective that whenever we are reading something, and if we can take the lessons out of it, it will help us to become better citizens. That's what I just wanted to tell you. And the next thing is about SEM syndrome, which I many a times talk to my class, that you should understand what is strategy execution mismatch. So execution always fails because action is less glamorous than strategy. I'll just give you an example that we all make the strategy most of the time that it is good for us to walk every day, let's say for 45 minutes in the morning. Strategy is good, we know that we can talk about this strategy, but if I will ask you, just to introspect that once you are making this strategy, how are we executing it? Are we even executing it more than 80% of the times? No, generally we don't follow the execution part of the strategy, and most of the assignments failed because of the lack of the art of executing it, not the strategy. Of course strategy plays a lot of intellectual role, but the crux lies in the execution. And hence, I would always say that vision without execution is hallucination, from the famous artist, the scientist edition. So this sentence is actually inspiring me a lot. Whenever I talk about execution, I reminded myself with this statement. The next, after the character and execution, is the legacy. So leaving legacy is very important. We have seen the earlier slide that those who are all greatest world leaders, they have left a lot of legacy for us, and we are following it till date. So legacy is created when leadership, actually the person who lives beyond the leader himself. So if we talk about Mahatma Gandhi ji, he lived himself, beyond this, and that's how we are still remembering him. Made through impactful contribution, which is made towards a team or organization. So you please try to be an impactful when you are leading your organization, when you're leading your followers. Likewise, so what are the most important traits of leadership? There are many, but I would like to concentrate on these three things: that you should be always a lifelong learner. As I said that teaching only can happen till undergraduate. Rest of the age or rest of the life is all about learning. So I can't teach anyone up beyond the undergrad. Post graduation, I also feel that it is all about learning. Of course, we can guide as a professor. That's what we talk to our students. So as a lifelong learner, you have to devise different mechanism to learn from elders, learn from younger. Many a times, this generation Z, if you are just talking to them, you will realize that they have also a lot to teach you. And at the same time, being innovative, being creative in your ways, it's very subjective when we discuss about being innovative. But I'm sure that kind of domain expertise you have, and the kind of horizon and the clarity of mind that you have, will definitely make you an innovative. And as we discussed, that clear communication is a key to the leadership. Now, lifelong learning, reasons for being a lifelong learner is leaders becomes remarkable through their learning only. If you stop learning, it means you are gone, you are out of the competition, and hence you will have to devise a lot of mechanism to learn from, reading books, understanding different people, trying to communicate what they are trying to say, and you can learn from them. And how does it affect your role, or how do we become a lifelong learner? So leadership is definitely a complex endeavor, I say. Status quo, when I say that leadership is all about status quo, it requires no leadership, it requires thinking. So when you are trying to challenge the status quo, you need to analyze the data, what is happening, why it was happening. Likewise, so it will make us better and make our job easier when you are trying to analyze everything. But if you do not have a habit to learn from your past experiences, or from your current experiences, you can't do it. So my strategy is very clear, and I'm not talking new, but everybody must have heard about this, that there is a process of learning. Then when you go to a different contextual position, you have to unlearn. So let me just give you my example. When I become a professor for the first time, I am not formally graduated on how to teach. So at that time, I had to learn, a lot of things. Conceptually, we may be clear, but when it is need to be transferred to the others in terms of knowledge, it requires skills. So you have to acquire those skills. That's what is learning all about. And I had to learn, or the art of learning, that how should I teach into the class to the kids or to the undergrads. But then, when I become an administrator, I had to unlearn a lot of things, because when you are an administrator, you are dealing with people who are either intellectually as much as you are, or they are far, far, far intellectual than you. So I'm talking about the board of governors, board of management. And when you are in a class as a professor, for sure that anyhow you have a better knowledge, and students are not going to question you much. nowadays the scenario is different, but I'm just talking about myself. So that's how you have to unlearn what you have learned earlier. So I'll have to listen to other people very carefully. I'll have to unlearn those skills that in class sometimes we unintentionally give the orders, but as a registrar I cannot give the orders, and hence after unlearning all these things I'll have to start relearn. What as a registrar I need to relearn? Let's say I never learned a psychology as a subject in my life, but nowadays I am only dealing with the psychology. As I said, I'll have to I'll have to deal with the different people. I need to read a lot about the psychology. I have to understand the psychology. I'll have to understand the psychology of a security guard if he is coming to my office and complaining about students not following the protocols. I can't simply say that you don't know your work. So I'll have to understand his psychology when the conflict happens between the students and the professors, students and the security people, just to follow the rules and regulations. I'll have to understand the psyche of a two different kind of age groups, and that's how I will have to sharpen my skills through the process of learning, unlearning and relearning. And of course, being lifelong learner will not give you an advantage to lead the organization. Hence, as I said, we'll have to be very innovative in our thinking. So how can you be innovative in your processes? I would go with the two words, kind of critical and creative thinking, both. Of course, critical thinking is required, but only critical thinking will not take you far, and you will have to also encourage creative thinking. Let me just give you an example that how kids can be creative. So I'm connected with the NGO called Agastya International Foundation, which is working for the underprivileged children. Recently I come to know that the kids of 5th and 6th standard, both were girls. They were just observing people who were planting some sort of plants on the highway, just to block the light coming from the other side, so that vehicle movement is very easy for a driver. Now they were just observing, and they were just curious, because the Agastya's fundamental is based on sparking the curiosity among the kids, and those kids are coming from very underprivileged background. So these two girls were watching them. They just out of curiosity asked that what kind of plants that you are planting on the middle of the highway. The government people said that it is, how does it matter, we are just planting anything whatever comes in our way, and then it will help the vehicle movement. Then these two girls came back. They actually tried to ask a lot of questions, and that's where critical and the creative thinking started. And then this two girls did some research that which plants can generate the most oxygen, and they have identified two species, and they have gone to these people back, and this girl said that you plant this because anyhow we are going through the very rough phase in the climatic condition. You must use these two plants which is generating the oxygen. And the government officials were amazed, but the project was not possible to scale it up. But they have given a little patch to these girls to just to encourage them thinking innovatively, and these two girls have won the awards at nationally as well as internationally in US, just to press a idea of critical thinking and creative thinking both. So that's how we have to learn from the new age people as well. That's the key. So of course, when you try to do innovation, it brings a lot of change, and when it brings the change will also come with a risk. So let me give you an example that when I was handling attendance issue in my university, every time we had to call students who were below 80 percentage, and we would have told them that you will not be able to give the exam. But at the end of the day, I was always thinking that is this the rule that we want to follow? Can't we do some innovative thinking where we can resolve this issue? And students, when they are debarred from the exam, the examination system is such that they will have to come to the next year. Of course, we don't stop them to progress their years to go to higher class, but they had to wait for 1 year to clear that exam. So I can understand that 20% here and there could happen because of XYZ reason. So can we come up with a very flexible policy? And then from my earlier experiences and the learning and reading from the Western universities, they have a very good flexible attendance policy, and we could come out with the graded policy that if your attendance is still 50%, every 20% you will lose the grade, and it will be resulting into the grade drops. So that's how we handled it. Everybody was talking about this new change, and then even deans, the faculty, they were saying that no, students will not accept it. And the provost, the registrar, the deans have deliberated everything, and then they say that we can implement it. If it will not work next year, we will roll back. And since 3 years this policy works well. So that's what I'm talking about, bring the change innovatively, and it will definitely come with the resistance and the risk. But what is risk? The risk you will have to mitigate, you will have to again devise the different mechanism. But don't shy away doing innovative things when you are in a position. That's the learning. Anyways, we are running out of time, so I would like to skip this customer centricity, collaboration, influence with impact. We know all these things. Rather, I would simply like to take you to the video that I wanted to show everyone, that what can we learn from this video. I would request Dr. Call, just let me know if this is visible and audible to everyone. Is it audible, Dr. Call?
We're just about to, yes. Have you played it? Because there's a lag coming in.
Once upon a time,
I'm playing.
A turtle and a rabbit had an argument.
Perfectly fine.
Did it came? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I just want to want you to see this story, which we have all grown up hearing
About who was faster. They decided to settle the argument with a race. The turtle and the rabbit both agreed on a route and started off the race. The rabbit shot ahead and ran briskly for some time. Then, seeing he was far ahead of the turtle, he thought he'd sit under a tree for some time and relax before continuing the race. He sat under the tree and soon fell asleep. The turtle, plodding on, overtook him and soon finished the race, emerging as the undisputed champ. The rabbit woke up and realized that he'd lost the race.
This is the
moral of the story is that slow and steady wins the race.
This is the story that most of us knows, right? But somebody has literally took a pain to make this video, and taking learning ahead of this story. So please see the next story.
This is the version of the story that we've all grown up with, but our version of the story continues. The rabbit was disappointed at losing the race, and he did some thinking. He realized that he'd lost the race only because he had been overconfident, careless, and lax. If he had not taken things for granted, there's no way the turtle could have beaten him. So he challenged the turtle to another race. The turtle agreed. This time, the rabbit went all out and ran without stopping from start to finish. He won by several miles. The moral of the story? Fast and consistent will always beat the slow and steady. It's good to be slow and steady, but it's better to be fast and reliable. But the story doesn't end here. The turtle did some thinking this time and realized that there's no way he can beat the rabbit in a race the way it was currently formatted. He thought for a while and then challenged the rabbit to another race, but on a slightly different route. The rabbit agreed. The turtle and rabbit started off. In keeping with his self-made commitment to be consistently fast, the rabbit took off and ran at top speed until he came to a broad river. The finishing line was a couple of kilometers on the other side of the river. The rabbit sat there, wondering what to do. In the meantime, the turtle trundled along. got into the river, swam to the opposite bank, continued walking, and finished the race. The moral of the story: first, identify your core competency, and then change the playing field to suit your core competency.
So core competency for any leader is extremely important to understand. Without understanding this, and if you jump, you are bound to fail, and then you don't have a way to blame to anyone else than you. So that's what the story suggests.
The story still hasn't ended. The turtle and rabbit by this time had become pretty good friends, and they did some thinking together. Both realized that the last race could have been run much better. So the turtle and rabbit decided to do the last race again, but to run as a team this time. They started off, and this time the rabbit carried the turtle till the riverbank. There, the turtle took over and swam across with the rabbit on his back. On the opposite bank, the rabbit again carried the turtle, and they reached the finishing line together. Both the turtle and rabbit felt a greater sense of satisfaction than they'd felt earlier. The moral of the story: it's good to be individually brilliant and to have strong core competencies. But unless you're able to work in a team and harness each other's core competencies, you'll always perform below par, because there will always be situations at which you'll do poorly and someone else does well. Teamwork is mainly about situational leadership, letting the person with the relevant core competency for a situation take leadership.
So situational leadership is, one should always practice, and situational leadership is again a style with the other different leadership styles. So it doesn't matter that, I am leading an organization as a CEO, but if I know that, there is an area which is weaker on my side, rather, 3 steps junior who is, hierarchy wise, I'm saying, in an organization has much more capability, than a CEO, then CEO should not shy away to pass the baton to him and try his own idea towards that. And most of the companies which are currently leading and succeeding, they are actually practicing it, including Augusta International Foundation that I have seen. So I know all the founders and the leaders who are leading this organization, which is an NGO. They are practicing extremely situational leadership. So we must think as a leader that it's not only I as a person can succeed. It is the whole world is moving from I to we, and that's what the story tells us. Okay, I think let's go ahead. Okay, so far I have tried to explain certain concepts, from the leadership books and my experiences. But now I want to share case study. Dr. Call, can I go ahead, because I'm overshooting the time, but
Yes.
1 minute more.
No, sir, definitely, Dr. Vasant. Please just be comfortable, and we are just simply enjoying this. Yeah, please.
Sure. Thank you. So the first case study from my experience I want to talk is, about the impression of an employee before and after I joined at a university. I won't take the name of the university, I won't take the name of a person, but let's talk about the person's role. So when I joined the university, a person in the office of the registrar, extremely involved in people management, and responsible to talk to the other side of the employees, to talk to the management as well. Then I keep on hearing from the other side of the faculty and staff member that this employee is very rude and never solves our query. And from the management side, I was always hearing that this person should leave. And now it is very simple for me to come as a new person and just to listen to the management and second employee. Is it the problem solution as a leader I should give? I thought a lot. I tried to understand the profile of the person. I tried to observe for a year about the activities done by that person, and then I come to a conclusion that there is a great communication gap between the person as an employee, the other stakeholders, the management, everyone. And then I also tried to find out the history, that why that person is behaving like. And I found that the person on my place whom I replaced probably had that style, that whenever he wanted to communicate something or she wanted to communicate something, it was being done through this person. And then the whole impression was created that the person who is directly dealing with employer, with the management, is having no capability and and nothing. If I really go to the profile of that person, what I found is, even the person was not fit for doing that job. Rather, the person was hired to do another job. And from that particular job X, he or she was promoted to do a other job, which he or she is not even probably fitting to do that job, fit into the criteria even. So I would take it rather positively, that even if the person is not capable enough, if somebody told him or her to take the responsibility, and if the person is doing a job, it is actually not his or her fault. Rather, it is the fault of the leadership, and who has not understand the profile. And what I tried to do is, slowly and gradually, I tried to groom a person that for your job you should do this. People are casually talking about it, so it is a constructive feedback that I had given. And when I had given that feedback, and I have actually practiced what I'm saying, and then the person has realized that this person is not willing to control rest of the other staff members, rest of the other people. The person has changed a lot in his or her nature. And then simply I taught certain skills, that for this particular job, 1 2 3 4 5, these are the 5 things you are supposed to do. So whenever that person is now dealing with the other employees or dealing with the management, you would be amazed to see that after some time, management told me that we see a change in this person, and the all credit goes to you. I said, no, it is not credit to me, it is a credit to that person who has actually learned something. Rather, giving feedback to that person, she or he tried to unlearn the things, and then relearn the things, and he contextualized the things. And that's how the person's impression is completely changed. And now that person in that particular university is doing fairly good, management is happy, and employees are happy. So I'm just trying to throw back on my idea of dealing with the problem. So for a leader, it is very easy to go with the easy solution, but easy solution will not yield the result. It will take you to the wrong end of the path, and rather you will not be able to establish your credibility. So that is the case study one that I wanted to share. The other case study is, how did I solve the resources issue? And it's not something which I can hide. It is even at the Ahmedabad University, when I was dealing with the academic administration, and also at the Navrachana University. Actually, both the places, what we tried to do is we had tried to give a flexibility to the students. So what we did is 15% of the credits from all the curriculum we have taken up, and we said that we will offer the electives to the student. And it is just like a buffet, that students will go and choose the courses whatever they want to learn. It doesn't mean that I'll not go deep down in my domain, but I'm also advocating the philosophy of getting knowledge from the other disciplines. So that's why we wanted to free up 15% of the electives. And then the question came that once everybody had agreed, the question of timetabling came to my desk, that the philosophy that you are saying will not work in the Indian context, because our timetable will not allow students to take these courses, because it will clash with each other. And then I probably my domain expertise, being a software engineer, being a mathematician, and then being into this education domain, to understand that how timetabling of the classes and the resources work. And everybody was saying that even we don't have enough classrooms to carry out this many classes at the same time. So what we did is I asked my colleague who is working on the administration side, and is technologically equipped, I tried to tell him that, please bring in the timetables of each and every programs, each and every school together, put it onto the Excel sheet and just make it with a different colors. And in mathematics we call it a graph coloring pattern. So graph coloring pattern, when you color the graph, you actually see the different patterns out of it. And then I could see the different patterns coming out of it. And I said that 12 to 2 every day, 12 to 2 we are giving recess across the university. So it's a free period for everyone, and we have almost 36 classroom, let's say. So 36 into 2 every day, 72 hours. And roughly you just multiplied 70 into 5, it comes somewhere around 350, and we were wasting 350 hours of classes. And I simply, with a scientific analysis, proved that we are not we are not utilizing resources optimally, and hence we are ending up with the problems that this timetable won't work. The other thing was that everybody was making their timetable into their silos. So what we tried to do is we ask all our timetable in charge to come to one common classroom or the conference room, where they will have to make the timetable as a university, not as a program. So this is how actually we tried to deal with a complex problem. And I was so happy to tell everyone that for at least next 2 to 3 years, please don't come to the office of the registrar saying that you don't have enough classrooms. And regarding the classes of the electives, because when you are going into core courses, it must not clash with your other electives. So what we tried to do is every day morning 8 to 10, and in the evening by 4 to 8 or 5 to 8, depends on the program's need, we have slotted electives. So we have segregated elective courses with the core courses, and that's how our timetable was so flexible. For that we had to do 8 to 8 schedule. So again, there was a resistance from everyone that 8 to 8 students won't come. But then my argument was that see, if we will give choices to the student rather than teaching them what they don't want to, I am 100% sure that student won't mind if there is a break in between his 1 or 2 classes. Rather, students would be happy to hang around with their friends in the university campus or go to the library and learn. And since 2 years, this system works very well, and we don't have any issue with this. So these are the 2 case studies. I have many of them to share, but respecting the time, it's not possible. So I'm just concluding my talk with the philosophy that let us lead at least our life if we cannot lead others. And leading our life or leading others needs definitely a patience. And that reminds me of a famous doha of Sant Kabir Das ji, that he said that dheere dheere re mana sab kuch dheere hoy. So sorry, dheere dheere re mana sab kuch dheere hoy, mali sinche so ghada rut aaye fal hoy. Meaning is to doesn't matter that whatever your mind says, but if you keep patience and slowly and gradually you plant you water a plant, when season comes you will get the flowers. That's how this doha has always inspired me to follow the patience. Thank you very much. Thank you, Delnet. Thank you, Dr. Kaul, for giving me an opportunity to talk to the participants. I think that's where I am now, ending my talk. And probably if we just want to see the result, if it has come, on my dashboard, we will be able to do it. Thank you.
Dr. Vasant, thank you so very much. Firstly, for such an empowering and an enlightening talk, and you have truly inspired everyone with this incredible talk of yours, full of your experience, and you are certainly leading by example. And everyone here, would agree with me that you're sitting in, it's not only doing it yourself, but also taking everyone along with you, and that speaks volumes, of the great leadership qualities that you are being blessed with. Thank you so very much, making the session so lively and interactive and engaging. Thank you so much, Dr. Vasant, and also for your time and efforts in being there with us. I would like to request you, if you may just kindly, because many in the chat have requested, if we can have the QR code again. It seems so that not all attendees have been. Before we take them and show them the results, I think, it would be in fitness of things if we can just have the first slide again, give a little, some 2-3 minutes to our attendees, because we could see it in the chat box that they are requesting us to share the QR code again. So if we can just scan, yes. And that's for everyone. Requesting each one of you, please kindly, you can just scan this QR code, and you will be taken to a new page, and wherein you are supposed to give your feedback. And then we would be requesting Dr. Vasant to collate all the findings and then to share with everyone. So we request you all, please kindly scan this QR code to your mobile device and just fill up. There are some 17 questions, Dr. Vasant, if I'm correct, around 17 questions, a quick ones, yeah. And we just request you to just kindly do that, so that we are in a position to get your feedback and how you have felt and what are your takes, on the aspects of leadership. So we would sincerely be wanting each one of you to kindly participate in the survey so that we can get a good feedback, and it's also a collective feedback from each one of you, and the findings definitely would be of immense interest to everyone. So requesting everyone to please come forward in doing, and then we would like to request Dr. Vasant to check that from the back end, and then we would be able to know. So perhaps, Dr. Vasant, in the meantime, you may like to check that how many of them have already submitted, and you may like to mention something about it. Requesting everyone, we have got 254 attendees as of this moment online, so requesting you to come forward and scan the link. I believe you have already done it. And quickly, there are 17 questions, but they are all very, very quick, and all being conceptualized by our very distinguished speaker, Dr. Vasant. So please come forward in giving your valuable feedback, and that would truly be, we would appreciate, receiving that inputs from each one of you. Yeah, Dr. Vasant, can you just check and confirm whether?
I'm just checking. It seems that only 3 people have responded on my.
As of this moment, okay. So requesting you, please kindly
what we can do, Dr.
do
Paul,
participate,
is
and
we share the result later on if probably people are, just
I think that we may do it, yeah, because they have already done. Let's keep, with your permission, Dr. Vasant, can we have a QA, because we would like to make the floor open for questions, because we have our attendees, maybe for, if you have some 10-15 minutes, because I'm not really so sure that how you are being placed now. Can we have some 10 minutes of yours?
I can take the questions if the participants have.
10 minutes, yeah, sure. So we are making the floor now open for questions, requesting our attendees, please come forward, and you have any question that you may like to ask, please kindly raise your digital hand, and we would be more than happy to give you an audio control. So requesting, I'm just lowering the hand of everyone now, and now requesting you, the digital hand that you need to raise. Dr. Vasant would be encountering the situations, being in the classroom and also in the digital classrooms. But yes, through this platform, today are the different group of attendees, because it's all our library and information science colleagues, and also many others from different streams who are being there. I would just like to go and please note that this is an alphabetically, I could see that a couple of them have raised their hands. This is for you, Aniket Mal. Aniket, we are not able to see any audio device. I won't be able to give you an audio control because of that. This is for Dr. Shekhar HP. Dr. Shekhar HP, I have unmuted you. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. Dr. Shekhar HP, could you please unmute yourself and ask your question? If not, because there are many hands, I would be compelled to then mute you from here. Going to Harshit Gupta. Harshit Gupta, could you please unmute yourself, Harshit? Harshit Gupta, could you please unmute yourself? Yes, Harshit, we are connected.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, I have a question regarding the team leadership, how it will be important for the library and the...
Sorry, Harshit, sorry to
Okay,
interrupt.
sir.
Please introduce yourself, Harshit. Introduce yourself firstly.
Sir, okay, sir, myself Harshit Gupta. I am from PhD scholar from the Library Information Science, UP, Uttar Pradesh, India. So I have questioned that if the several people try to come at the library at the time of same, so how the leadership will impact on the basis of the requirement of their books and their participant in the role of.
Harshit, your voice is breaking in between.
I could not listen to him properly, but
No, I
if you
think
can.
it's the same here too. The voice was breaking in between. Harshit, can you try once again your question? This is for you, Harshit. Can you try once again?
Sir, my question is how the leadership. Okay, ma'am. My question is, sir, how the library is helpful with the help of leadership in sharing the network with the purpose and the requirement of user.
More
Okay.
in driving the users in the libraries. That's a perspective of that he may like to.
Thank you very much for asking
Yes,
this
ma'am.
question. I personally, going to the library, and I always see that it is very disheartening in the age of this digital era that much of the people are not visiting the library. So as a leader of the library, you must reimagine the context that now, because of this digital age, people get a lot of information without coming to the library, and hence you need to come out with a, as I said, that critical and the creative thinking that you will have to apply, that how can I bring in to the people to the library. So one of the thing is you can organize book talks, which is happening across the country. You should know that recently in the particular field where your user would be interested to come and listen to them, so try to arrange those kind of visits through those people who have written the book. That is one way. Second way is if user are not coming to you, you take your library with the help of technology to them. Make your library portal interactive. I would request you to visit one of the great libraries like Mica in Ahmedabad. They have very good libraries, and they can provide you a lot of titles which is of interest to you. I would talk about Mr. Jaideep Mehta, how he has helped me as a librarian. When I was actually teaching this course on leadership, I wanted to get a lot of HBR case studies, and he came forward and helped me that, sir, which kind of case study you are looking for, what are your topics. So try to understand and customize the user needs, and then try to help them. Similarly, it happens with the students when they are coming to the library. I'm not telling you or anyone else, but rather than sitting into our offices, let us make the approach very welcoming, that whenever the student needs, they can directly come to the librarian or the library staff for finding out a lot of interesting books. I have seen librarians at IITs when I was just gone as a visitor. She came forward and she tried to ask me that, sir, you are from which field? I said I am from computer science. Then she said that, would you be interested into computer science books? Likewise, she suggested me a lot of good titles, and I was literally not aware of those books. And this is how they have made an impact on me. So that's where your knowledge can exhibit it, and you can come forward as a leader in your field. I hope I have
Thank you
answered.
very much. Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Vasant. I just wanted to mention that everyone is in complete admiration of your wonderful talk, as I could see, and they have also admired, your sharing that wonderful video. The small video clip that we had with a great moral, coming out of it, and everyone, is being just flooded like that. So just wanted to share with you before I take the next question. So thank you very much once again for that. Yeah. Let me quickly now go to Mr. Vijay Chauhan. Mr. Vijay Chauhan, I have unmuted you. Quickly unmute yourself. Mr. Vijay Chauhan, yes, we are connected. Vijay, please introduce yourself to our distinguished speaker and go ahead with your question. Vijay, you have unmuted. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, yes,
Hello.
Vijay, go ahead. Vijay, please unmute yourself. Vijay, please unmute yourself. maybe perhaps it seems that by mistake he has raised his hand. Let me go now to Mr. Siva Prasad Aripaka. Mr. Siva Prasad Aripaka, you have raised your hand. Could you please unmute yourself? Mr. Siva Prasad Aripaka, could you please unmute yourself? Mr. Siva Prasad, no, if not, let me just lower your hand and then go to the next. Mr. Kaluram Parihar. Mr. Kaluram Parihar, could you please unmute yourself? Mr. Kaluram Parihar, could you please unmute yourself, Mr. Parihar? I'm sorry, I'm getting a little impatient because we have our distinguished speaker being very, very kind and gracious and giving us not much of time. This is for Engineer Ghanshyam Das Garg. For Ghanshyam Das Garg. Yes, we are connected. Yeah, please introduce yourself.
Yes, myself, Ghanshyam Das Garg, retired from HL Lucknow in 2012. I want to ask that how to manage the difficult people, difficult employees.
Sir, you are asking difficult question to me. So
Why?
No, I'm just kidding. I think, managing difficult people is an art, just like an art of leadership. You will have to understand the psychology. That's where I will argue that without understanding the psychology of the people, you can't manage difficult people. So first of all, my approach to manage difficult people is to give a lot of respect to them first. Because many a times you give a respect to the person and then you patiently listen to them. And then if you without bringing subjectivity, if you talk objectively, and if a person is sane and able to understand that where you are coming from and how you are putting your words to them, as I said in my slide, that what you say and how you say is very important when you are dealing with difficult people. Now, difficult people is very vague term. So when you are seeing difficult people, it could be our perception also. So I have worked with always a difficult people who were my bosses, but not with a bad intention. They were not at all, bad people. Rather, they have always tried to explain me and try to make me learn out of, their things. I have worked with 3 vice chancellor of IIM Ahmedabad, and anyone from IIM Ahmedabad, you won't find it easy. They need substance. So we have to define what exactly the definition of the difficult people you want to say. So if the person doesn't have a substance and still he is being difficult, then I said give a respect, listen to them, and then add your wisdom when you are talking to them. That's how I can answer this. So we will have to define the difficult.
Okay.
Well said.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, good sir. Thank you so very much for being there with us this afternoon. Thank you. I could see that Mr. Kaluram Parihar is really wanting to ask you something. So he has raised his digital hand yet again. And you would be encountering the situation, Dr. Vasant, in the classroom, that the student is, just persistently you would be. And we really appreciate Mr. Parihar. I have unmuted you, quickly requesting you to unmute yourself and ask the question. This is for Mr. Kaluram Parihar. Could you please unmute yourself and ask your question? Extremely sorry, I'm compelled to unmute. Yes.
If they are not able to connect, you can ask them to write a question
on the chat. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vasant. Yeah, on the chat also you can do that. In the chat box is all flooded with the all congratulatory messages, for you for delivering such an impressive talk. So that I have to then see that where is a question lying, because they are all being the wonderful, beautiful, feedback about your presentation. Requesting, I could see that again, Mr. Parihar is desperate to ask you. Mr. Parihar, please unmute yourself. Last time I have done it for you. Please unmute yourself and ask a question. Perhaps we would share with you the email ID of Dr. Vasant, and you would be more than happy then to write to him. This is for you, Bandhana Basuji. We are not able to give you control because there's no audio device which is getting detected, though the name appears. If there is anything anyone may like to ask quickly, another 2 minutes we can give, and post your message quickly in the chat box before we inch towards the closure of the session. I could see that Mr. Parihar again wanting. This is, I have unmuted you, Mr. Parihar. Last time we are trying through this platform. I've sent you an unmute request also. Please unmute yourself. If not, just send across the message. Dr. Vasant, would you like to give your email ID, inform your email ID to everyone?
I already put it in my last slide. Let me
Yeah,
bring
so
it.
perhaps,
Yeah.
yes, if we can, yeah, that would really be nice.
Is this visible to everyone?
No, not right now.
Just let me make
No, yeah.
more.
Yes, I believe it could be now. Yes. Perfectly fine. So this is for all our attendees over here. You may kindly, if you may wish to write to Dr. Vasant, I'm pretty confident that many of you would really like to write to him. So you can reach to Dr. Vasant at his email ID, sandeep.vasant@nuv.ac.in. And regarding the feedback, that we really wanted, perhaps we would like to share that with everyone. We would be sending it across to you, the entire, the YouTube link for this particular webinar session. And this is Dr. Vasant to request you to give us a permission to upload this lecture on our YouTube channel of DELNET. And we would appreciate your consent.
And I would really like to thank you, DELNET, and all the participants who actually listen to me so patiently. I always say that thanking anyone is always not enough in few statements. But let me tell you that if people are congratulating me, and this is how I measure the success of the talk. So I can't spell success as a word. If I take the letter, that is the second letter, you means all the audience. So audience also has the character you, and the success also has the character you. So we cannot spell out success without the audience. So thank you very much for all the participants.
Yeah, thank you so very much, Dr. Vasant. We can never thank you enough. Thank you is a very, very small expression. The expression looks to be small, but the gratitude is much larger. And we remain truly, truly grateful to you for such a wonderful deliberations, truly inspired. We have truly felt charged up, and as I said earlier, you are really leading by setting up the big examples, and there are many followers you have today created and inspired many of our library professionals to start following you now. So you would be able to see many of your requests coming in on the LinkedIn and other profiles requesting to get network with you. Thank you so very much for such a wonderful picture.
Thank you
and
for
on behalf of DELNET, this is an elephant coming in, and many of us will be knowing about it, that elephant, it's not only for the strength and loyalty, elephant is also symbolic of leadership.
Oh,
yes. Yeah. And this is coming your way, a special way.
Thank you.
With lot of admiration for you.
But with all listeners, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we really look forward to an opportunity to host you at DELNET at Delhi, and to have a program, in person for our professional colleagues, and do always, I know that you are always so supportive, very kind and gracious in accommodating our requests, and we remain truly grateful. And it's such a wonderful pleasure to have been knowing you, the wonderful work that you are doing it, and may God give you the infinite, energy and, that enthusiasm to take the organizations, to take the people along, and to make that difference, the change that all of us, would like to see around, and to make ourselves as an agent of that. You have truly, truly inspired everyone today to become the leaders, to lead the way, to show the way, and to take everyone along. And you have taken everyone along with you, and to experience, what you have experienced and what you are, on the ground doing it. Much grateful, much obliged, and also to all our colleagues there, Dr. Jaideep Mehta and all our colleagues there, who have been of immense, help to us, and all our attendees over here who have really always make a difference. As you have rightly pointed it out, we can't spell success without that big U, and each one of you, our professional colleagues, you remain as our true inspirations, who always keeps on driving us to keep on organizing, these knowledge sharing sessions. So thank you very much. And I would also like to thank my own colleague, Mr. Kushal Goswami and Mrs. Ranjana, who have been coordinating and helping in our webinar sessions. We really look forward to having yet another opportunity, Dr. Vasant, to have you with us.
Thank you, Dr. Kaul. Pleasure is all mine, and it is very mutual. As a professor, I always feel that whatever little knowledge that we have, we should be, exchanging with each other, and the ideas has to be shared so that we all prosper together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. God bless. God bless. And God bless you all. Stay blessed, stay happy, and do stay connected. We really look forward to having yet another opportunity to have you back. And quickly to mention, by 4 o'clock, all our attendees would be receiving the digital certificates of participation, given with great appreciation for each one of you for your time and efforts in being there, given by both DELNET as well as Navrachana University, Vadodara. Thank you very much, one and all, once again, and thank you so much for immensely contributing to today's such an illuminating and a truly an inspiring session. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Vasant, once again. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Thank you.